We are just building another MVP, another product in a partnership with a couple of people in another country. And while we're building this MVP, I noticed that we always include certain things in the base of an app, and I wanted to show them here to you. So maybe you can create your own MVP a bit faster next time. My name is Till Carlos, and we build software products and we document how we do so here on this channel. And today we're going to talk about 3 things that I always include in a new software product that we are creating. And I quickly want to go through those. You already see it here. It's database, jobs, and reports. So let's go real quick through those to get you the stuff right away. The first thing is the database explorer. And that's something that is super important. Back in the days, we used phpMyAdmin. For people who coded PHP, that's something that you install very early on, and it usually comes with any kind of shared PHP web space, and you can explore all the database tables, and it's a great tool. And I always looking for something like this for our stack, which is in this case Ruby on Rails. And I found it, and it is called Rails Admin. And what Rails Admin lets you do is you can hook this in as a Rails engine, that you can hook it into your app. So here into admin/database. And so this means that there is a so-called route before that only lets admins, or in our case, super admins, actually access that. So this is shielded from normal users. And of course, technically an admin can screw with everything here. So of course, it cannot modify records that have a foreign key constraint, but usually you could shoot yourself in the foot with this kind of thing. There is something that those guys use in order to disable that. Let's look into this real quick. This is the gem. It's called Rails Admin here, and it's quite well maintained. Just a couple of days ago, we had new updates, and these are all the features. So we can have CRUD, which is read, update, delete with ease. What was important for me here is that we don't need to define the whole thing ourselves. So if we are, for example, using Avo HQ, this thing, which is also an amazing admin interface, which is great if you really want to go big on your admin interface and really even show it to users. But you always have to write some code yourself. And what this does, it just scans your schema, your database schema, and then it generates the whole interface for you. So you really don't need to do anything. You just need to drop it in, and it works out of the box. It has authorization, so you can hook in those 2 things. In my case, we are using something called Action Policy, which is very closely related to Pundit. It almost has the same interface, and this doesn't work quite yet, but if you're using Pundit or can, then you're totally cool with this. And yeah, you just drop it in, you install it, and there you go. And if you want to have a demo, there is a demo here somewhere, live demo here. You can just play around with that once it's loaded, of course. So that's something that I installed very early on. It's super highly beneficial, especially in our case where we don't have the MVP so much ready yet. So we really want to focus on one main workflow, and we just don't want to create something like a list of API requests. I don't want to make any kind of form for that, any kind of view for that. I just want to look at it from the admin interface, and this is what saves us a lot of time here. The second thing that I always include is some kind of overview for jobs. We used to use Sidekick, which is also a great choice, and Sidekick has this one thing here called Sidekick Web. Sidekick Web looks roughly like this. You have an interface, you see exactly what are the jobs, where are they going. Let me see, where's the image? Here. It looks like this right now in Japanese, I believe. But you have basically everything you need in an interface, and now we are moving to some other job queues just to see how they perform. We're using solid queue right now, and the thing for solid queue, it just dropped from, I think, 37 signals. It's called Mission Control. It basically gives you this backend, or this interface for your admins in order to see how the jobs are. And it's really great because what I like about it, you really have a lot of control over what goes into the job, what kind of parameters do you give the job, how much it was executed with what kind of priority. And you of course see all the queues here, and you even see recurring tasks. So this is a no-brainer to include if you have a job queue that is able to work with this. And the third thing I wanted to introduce you to is called a gem called Blazor, which is basically a report generator for your Rails app. So you are able to write these kind of reports and put them together in a dashboard, and it works like this. You also just include it into your Rails app, you authenticate it behind an admin route, and now you have this thing, and I have prepared a quick query here. And now you can execute this query, and you can even save the query somewhere and say this is like my query, and then you can make your own admin dashboard by just adding multiple queries into it. Yeah, so this is, for example, a dashboard that we created. It's very simple, and I have to modify this, but it just shows the basic functionality. You can now display all kinds of reports that you otherwise would have to write in Rails views. So this is really a huge time help. And yeah, this is the reason why I include all these things now into our Rails app, just to save time and be more in control over our data. I'm a fan of creating infrastructure for it. And this is the same with this YouTube channel, where I'm trying to put out as many videos as I can, because I believe I get only better by doing something. And it's the same with MVPs. You only get better by listening to the customers. In order to get customer feedback, you need to push something out fast. If you want to see my reasoning about admin first, you can click this link or watch this video over here where I explain this in more detail.